Hello, hopefully you can hear me. We're starting off with the class name, my calculator, we have the scanner, and we have a boolean called start over, and we have a do loop. And in this do loop, and and it will it will repeat the sets of statements until a condition is met. So do loop start over is equal to false, assuming that it's initially a standard mode. So here it asks the user to enter the calculator mode, and in this string, it will store whatever the user choose. So standard or scientific, it will store it in this string called mode, and then here it will figure out if the user selected a valid mode. So, and it's only, as we know, it's only standard or scientific. So Boolean is scientific equal to false. Now, this is initially assuming that it's standard mode, right? So if mode equals to scientific, then is scientific is true. That means this is changed. Then it will go into scientific mode. So the code calculator will operate in scientific mode. And then if else it's standard mode, then obviously the calculator will operate in standard mode. This is what will print. Now, if it's neither and it's invalid, then it will ask, it will just basically print this, and it will continue, meaning it's just gonna go to the next iteration. So, and then next we got this string called operation, and this is a while loop. So And this is a while loop that keeps running until a valid operation is entered. And inside that, we can see code display a message depending on the chosen mode, listing the valid operations. So here it is. These are the valid operations, and these are for standard, for scientific. Now, and it will read user, and here it will read the user input and store it into operations, which is important because the next step is an if statement. So if is scientific and operation equals sign, or operation equal cause, or operation equal 10, if this is true, if it meet these if these are true, then it will break, meaning if the operation is valid, then it will break out of the loop. So if user chose scientific mode and sign, let's say sign, then it's a valid operation, so it will move on. It will break out of the loop. And if else, this is for standard mode. So operation dot equals, plus, minus, um, multiplication, division. If these are If these are true, then it will break out of the loop because the condition is met. And if it's neither, if the mode is invalid, then this is what it will print. It will print invalid operator plus whatever it is. Yeah, so basically we'll print out for everything else other than these two conditions. And then we got this, this double called results, which now this is checking if the code is a scientific function. If it is a scientific function, then this is what it will do. And by the way, double result equals 0.0. This is set to 0.0. It can change after the calculation is done. And so going back to if it is a scientific mode and it's any of these, then this is what it will do. So if it's signed, then it will do the calculation and then break. So it will just break and go to the next iteration. It's not gonna do these two. And same goes for vice versa. So if it's this, then it's not gonna do for these two. If it's 10, then it's not gonna execute these two codes, these two blocks essentially. And this is why switch is very useful here because it's when these conditions where if if the case oh my, and this is using this is using meta sign from the library, which makes it easier. And the switch operation is very useful because it allows for it to break if the case is match. So instead of doing all these calculations, it's just gonna do one, and then if the case is met, and then if the case is a match, then it will just continue to the next iteration. And if it's and then for standard mode, because this is an if statement, if it's none of these, if it's not signed, calls, or 10, then it will go to out statement. And here we can see again, so it used an appropriate um, math function here from the library, which is useful because it saves a lot of time. But let's go back to here. So if here, this is for the standard mode basically. Again, the system is asking for how many numbers do you want, and basically do you want and basically this is where the user will input how many numbers they want. Let's do this standard. Oh, sorry. Again, the another thing I forgot to mention is that in this project, this is what my professor told me, that we're expecting that the user knows how to use the calculator, so we are not expecting any error in this in the first step, choosing standard or scientific, because if I type wrong, then it will just show me an invalid mode, and then it will just show me this message, and basically I won't be able to do anything else. I won't be able to go back or anything. So just want to make sure that, so let's say standard, and here it's asking me, so let's do, since I chose standard mode, then this is what it will show me. And let's say if I want to do plus, I enter plus, and then it asks me how many numbers I want to um, add. And so if I say, let's say 3 numbers, it will ask me to enter however many number, as many number as I am, as I initially put. So I put 3, so I'll say 3 plus 3, 3 space 2 space 1. Now, if I put an extra number, it will not do anything because I'm only inputting. It's only gonna sum up 3 numbers, the first 3 numbers. So it's not gonna add the fourth number because I put 3 numbers. I'm supposed to enter 3 numbers. So let's do it. So it says 6. So 3 plus 2, 5, and then 1 is 6. And then it will ask me if I want to start over, which I'm gonna go into in a bit, but let's explain this one first. Again, same thing, it's a switch. So if it's a plus, then the plus or equal to none, and it's gonna break. So it will just, if the cases match, if the cases match to plus, then it will do the operation and then the results, and then it's just gonna break. So that means it's not gonna execute these again. And same goes for all of these. If, if the case is matched, then it will break and we'll go to the next iteration. And in the next iteration, this is what it's printing out. This is where it's going to print out the results, the system.out.println result plus results, whatever the result is. So in this case, the result is this 6. And here, the last step, which is very important because it's gonna ask the users, do they want to start over? Eh, Like here, do they want to start over? And if they choose Y, then the start over equal true, and this is gonna run again. So this this do loop, this whole thing is gonna run again, over again. If if else, if it's anything else, then it will just end the thing. So let's say n. If it's n, that means no. So it's gonna say goodbye. That's it. Now let's say if I put